Hello, gay people. Welcome to episode 6 of Kings on the Aux, the podcast where drag kings talk music and gender performance. I'm your host, Caius Crow, also known as Ben. First of all, happy Pride! Especially this time of year, I'm so grateful to be producing this show as part of a local drag scene that is so supportive of kings. We still have a long way to go, but the Cleveland area, I think, is one of the best places to be a king right now. I couldn't do this work without all the enthusiasm and support I've been receiving from the drag community in Cleveland and beyond. So, thank you all. A couple show updates. In case you missed the social media announcements, let me tell you, even more officially, that we are celebrating Pride Month with an extra special double premiere in June. That's 2 new episodes this month. You can expect that second episode 2 weeks from now on Thursday, June 26th. After that, we'll be returning to our usual third Thursday release schedule. I spent the spring working furiously ahead with my recording sessions, so I'm very excited to share some episodes that have been in the works for months now. My next guest is Mr. Ronnie Wrath, who has already made a name for himself after just a year coming up in the Kent and Cleveland scenes. In his drag, you'll see inspirations like Prince, the new romantic subculture, and all things flamboyant glam rock masculinity. During this episode, you also may recognize his drag dad, Marky Gaylord, a previous guest on the show. Ronnie is best known as a fierce competitor on Season 2 of the Kingpin drag competition. After weeks of impactful runways and memorable performances, he wrapped up the season by winning the lip-sync extravaganza in the finale week. So that means 3 rounds of lip-sync battles, and he won all of them. His winning lip-sync against Ike Tyson to Hey Ya, I genuinely believe will go down in Cleveland drag history. On this episode, Ronnie walked me through his process for an earlier Kingpin challenge, Week 4, Cinematic Spectacle. He created a horror drag-esque mix, inspired by the movie Hellraiser, with a very fitting song choice, Strangelove by Depeche Mode. Take a listen. So this is actually going to be my first time talking to a Kingpin alum about any mix that they created specifically for Season 2. So with that in mind, I'd like us to start from the challenge. So tell me what your task was, what you were being judged on for Cinematic Spectacle.
Okay, so the challenge was we had to make a mix inspired by a movie. And I actually struggled with that challenge the most, I'm not going to lie, because I didn't know how to fit a whole movie into a mix that was like probably supposed to be like max 5 minutes. Because because me and Himbo would drive from Kent to Cleveland like 50 minutes each way, and Himbo wanted to leave like as soon as possible. So I was like, that, and also like I didn't want to take up too much time. So I had to figure out how to make a movie make sense and be able to be recognized, because that was also part of the challenge. The movie had to be able to be like recognizable. So I had to figure out how to make a movie like that fit down into like max 5 minutes. So I like went back and forth. Like I almost did Pink Flamingos. I almost did Blazing Saddles. I considered doing Funny Girl, which is like a musical. People are going to eat me alive for forgetting who it's about. But I watched the beginning of it and I was like, oh, this is cute. But I didn't do that. I was like, what if I did Hellraiser? That was one of the strongest options I had. And I was like, this could be good. And then I found the song Strangelove and it all just kind of spiraled.
Definitely lots of strong options there, but I have to say, I really like how this one turned out. I think that it was super recognizable, and I'm going to have some questions for you about that later. But I'm glad that you brought up Strangelove, because that was the mix, right? You spliced clips from the movie into this one song by Depeche Mode. So what did you see in the song that connected to the movie?
It was just, the song just felt very Pinhead to me. And how the way I understood it after watching like a couple videos analyzing the movie was like the Cenobites aren't inherently evil. They just don't have the same concepts of morality that we do.
Yeah.
And so when they drag Frank down or whoever down into hell with them, they're like getting ready to show them the pleasures that they experience, but what we see as what they do is like torture. And so Strangelove just like struck a chord with me in that way because it's all about like weird, nasty nonsense that they do. You know what I mean? Like if you look at the lyrics and you read it, you're like, oh, this is like kind of good. It's like because you know how Depeche Mode just like makes freaky songs. It's
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
like BDSM sex songs. So I'm like, okay, I could do like Master and Servant, I could be boring, but I found that one and I was like, there's something here that I feel like connects to Pinhead in the way that they're both talking about like the strangeness of how they express pleasure. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I was like, that feels, you know,
I keep thinking about your like caption for this challenge, which was the Tumblr post of clang clang, I like to have evil
like to have
sex.
evil sex. Yeah.
And that is most of Depeche Mode's discography. Like I agree, you could have put all their hit singles on a board and like thrown a dart and found like an okay song. But I
Yeah.
think this one fits really well because like you said, it has all of these lyrics that are specifically highlighting, well, I mean the word that probably gets repeated the most in this song is pain. Like it's really loud over and over. So that's there. And it's also, I don't know, this is just, I think that it does speak to that sort of moral ambiguity that you were
Mm.
mentioning because it's not presenting it as like these characters are evil so much as just this is their conception of love and sex and relationships.
Yeah, and they don't, I mean, the humans frame them as evil because they're about to be tortured for eternity, but like the Cenobites don't see themselves as that. And I don't think the movie may frame, I don't know if the movie even frames them as evil, but they're just framed as being different. Like they just do it differently, I guess, is the only way I can say it.
Yeah, and I think the song really gets a lot of those nuances. I love it so much. And
Mm-hmm.
in addition to that, I was like messing around preparing for this interview. I think it's also a really smart thematic and aesthetic move because I found out that Hellraiser and Strangelove, so the movie and the song, both came out in 1987.
Did they?
Exactly. For real. Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, I didn't even know that. That wasn't on purpose.
Well,
Oh,
I wouldn't have known it wasn't on purpose. So like next time take credit for it because it
word. I
it makes
will. I will.
yeah. That was on purpose and that was really genius because it makes the mix as a whole work as like a period piece. Like, oh yeah, this is music that could have literally been playing in the setting of the movie.
Yeah, I could have.
Yeah.
They could have put it in the movie. That's all I'm saying.
They really could have, and it's a loss that they
Hmm.
didn't.
I think it would be perfect for the movie. I didn't know they came out in the same year. That's really cool.
I don't know. I admit I haven't checked like the month of any releases, and I know how like movie production works. I don't know how long Hellraiser was in the works. I
Yeah.
just know I can tell you that Strangelove came out in April 1987, and that's all I remember.
Hellraiser came out in 1987, and that's enough, really.
It's
Just the
enough.
movie 10 years, just iconic.
It's enough, yeah, because I think that one thing that can be really difficult about this challenge is you're trying to check all the boxes of you want to get the plot and you want to get the aesthetic of whatever film you're talking about. And it's kind of like how do you do that without like literally resorting to something in the soundtrack? And I think that this is really a really creative way to unify it. Even if it wasn't on purpose, like I buy it because coming from you because you have a lot of 80s and 70s, 80s, 90s influences in your drag that I see. So like you're in tune. You're in tune with that.
Yeah, my little Rick James unit. Every show, my little Rick James wig. Yup.
Yeah, you've got it. I want to talk also about the movie Hellraiser. Fun fact, for anyone listening to this, I watched Hellraiser for the first time preparing for this interview. I had not already seen it. You made me watch it. You gave me reason to watch it, so thank you for that.
So good.
It is. And I'm just fascinated by it. I want to, like, it left me read, like, I want to read, like, the academic scholarship on Hellraiser, because it's like, there's so much here. Like, the prop work, the themes, the question of the framing of, like, who are we supposed... Like, I know most horror movies aren't, like, necessarily trying to get you to, like, think that one particular character is, like, a good person, but it's kind of like, huh, what's the framing of this? Is this movie pro-evil sex or anti-evil sex? I can't tell, but it's a fun time. It's an interesting time.
I honestly, full tea, I'm not really a horror movie fan. And
Real.
what got me into horror movie was Dragula. Because I
Yeah.
started watching Dragula. I don't even know how I started watching it, but there were just so many references to horror movies, and I'm like bad with like scares and shit, but like I was into Five Nights at Freddy's as a kid. Like I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, it can't be that bad. So I started like compiling a mental list of like what horror movies I would start watching, and I don't know why Hellraiser found me, but I decided, sure, I'll watch this one. And obviously, there's like the all the nasty scenes of like the house being disgusting, Frank getting ripped apart.
Mm-hmm.
Although like it's a very nasty, gory movie. But yeah, I just got into it, and something about it like struck a chord with me. And we'll probably get into that more later. But it's just so good. It's just a great movie.
Definitely. It was also like, in terms of horror movies, I also don't watch a whole lot of horror movies, even though I enjoy horror media. I like listen to a lot of like audio horror. I read a lot of horror, but something about the movies, I think the number one thing that gets me about horror movies is jump scares. Like, if a bad jump scare will like ruin my month, I will be looking over
Yeah,
my shoulder for the rest of the month.
exactly.
But Hellraiser, like, it's got the gore, and it's like, I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, that's cool how they made that. I wasn't as like, even though it's a movie that stuck with me, it's not a movie that ruined my month. So I
Yeah,
appreciated that.
there's not a whole lot of jump scares really. It's just like nasty shit and like suspense.
Hmm.
Not really a jump scare movie.
Yeah. So, and I just want to double check because again, I'm not an expert on Hellraiser, but are all of the clips that you use in the mix from like the original 1981? Because I know there
Yes.
are like,
There's like a ton of Hellraiser movies
there's
and
like
they're
a
all,
dozen.
yeah, they're considered not as good as the original by far. So I just went with the original Hellraiser. They're all from the first one.
All right, good to know. I wanted to double check.
Hmm.
So, while you were constructing your mix, and especially with an eye to, one of the main things you had to think about is, I need to make this recognizable. I need to make this so people can follow it. How did you decide what clips to use and where to position them in the song?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, I had help. My dear old dad, Marky Gaylord, helped me with constructing it because I was like floundering. I wanted to include as much of the movie as I could so that people could
Mm-hmm.
recognize where it was from, but not so much where it was just like all monologue and then like some song and then more monologue. So then it would be like super long. So I like went back and looked up clips of the movie on YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
and I picked out the ones that were kind of like markers of where in the movie you were and like the most important bits. So like the beginning where like Frank gets caught for the first time, and then when what's the wife's name? I forgot. I don't remember. Yeah.
The wife's name? Oh my god, I should have
It's been
written
a
this
minute since I
down.
watched it.
I only think of her
The
as the
evil
evil
wife.
wife, as the evil
I
hot
don't
wife. That's
remember her
it.
name, but like when she finds Frank and is like rebuilding him, and there's a conversation where
Hmm.
she's like, what happened to you? And he's like, oh, the Cenobites took me and they did their little BDSM thing to me.
This is it.
Let me
No,
see.
don't touch it. It's dangerous. It opens doors.
What kind of doors?
Doors to the pleasures of heaven or hell. I didn't care which. I thought I'd gone to the limits. I hadn't. The Cenobites gave me an experience beyond the limits. Pain and pleasure. Indivisible.
And then there was another. Oh yeah, when Kirsty is in the hospital and the Cenobites come for
Hmm.
her, and like Pinhead gives his monologue where he's like, "You come with us, taste our pleasures and shit like that."
You solved the box. We came. Now you must come with us. Taste our pleasures.
That one, and then like the one where Frank gets caught for the final time at the end.
Jesus wept.
Those I felt like were indicative of like what the Cenobites are about, because I was Pinhead. I wasn't like Frank or something. So having them all like that kind of gave like a shortened synopsis of the movie. It's like this guy gets caught by the BDSM angels. They tear him apart. He comes back, or at least he tries to. This girl gets caught by the same BDSM angels. She leads to his undoing at the very end. And I'm like, okay, that is basically what the movie is. And the challenge had a requirement where we had to include clips of the movie and like iconic scenes. So obviously I had to get Pinhead's monologue. I had to get the end. So I was like, this is a good way to unite them.
That's really what I was thinking as I was listening to it, that you found like a few key moments that were really representative of the movie as a whole, and then you put them in order. We followed it, but there was also a really, even along with it being chronological in that sense, it also felt like a really full circle bookend kind of mix, because you open with a clip and then you end with a clip, and it's like you said, it's like Frank first learning about the Cenobites and then his demise at the end. So like we arrive back to where we were but changed, and that's something that I really like structurally whenever people do it in a mix. There was also a particularly cool transition that I think you even mentioned there, where you have Pinhead's monologue and like the line about like taste our pleasures, and then it smash cuts into this really sudden like pain in the lyrics. So it's like, oh my god, we've got the BDSM right there.
I connected it right there. He was like, taste our pleasures, and then it says pain, and I was like, oh, I'm so smart. My brain is like looking through, I can't believe this connection was made by me. This is gonna eat down. It was so good. I was like, oh, they're gonna.
And it did.
It did.
Yeah. No, I think overall, I think it was really successful for the way you're describing the challenge, because I had not seen Hellraiser at the time that you did this mix like live in front of me, and I could still follow it even though I didn't know anything about the movie. I'm like, yeah, they really fucked this guy up.
They got
like
his ass. They really got his ass.
They got him.
They really did.
Speaking of getting him, you had some help with this performance, so tell me what you did to Bram Stroke-Her on that stage.
I flogged his ass to oblivion in front of all of Muse Cleveland. Which is really funny, because in week 2, he was getting flogged by other people. He was getting flogged by his little shadow people. And then it was all very spur of the moment, to be honest, because I was like, okay, I feel like I can't communicate this alone. I need other people. So what I did is I had him up there lip syncing the beginning.
The Frank lines, yeah?
Part, yeah, because he's an undead zombie guy. That's like his thing. He's a big
that makes sense.
Guy. So
he could be Frank if he wanted to be.
He literally could. I'm like, he's the perfect Frank because he's dead. His whole character thing is he's undead. And then I got Rocky to play a live Frank before he was got. And then I got him off stage and like tore him apart. And then the music starts and then I do my thing. And at the end, Frank, who is in the movie being rebuilt by like killing men and like feeding on them, I got Bram in his undead form. And I did the BDSM angel thing where like I dragged him down to hell. But what I did was I just took one of his flogs and just kept whipping him. And Poundcake's critique for that moment was beat that corpse, and I said, bitch yes. I love Poundcake. Beat that corpse.
Yes, absolutely. It was so much fun to watch. I love when there's a little walk-on moment, when there's a little guest star moment in somebody's mix, because I'm like, oh my god, the production value.
It was kind of spur of the moment, because I was like, I told you, like, I couldn't do this alone, so like a couple... I want to say like a week before Kingpin, I pulled them on their group chat and I was like, okay guys, I need your help. And they were all very down to do it.
Wonderful. I love Brotherhood.
Love Brotherhood. Love my Kingpin brothers.
Yeah, it's just one big happy family. I love to see it. So after the doing it at Kingpin, do you see yourself doing this mix again ever? Are we going to see it again? Are you going to beat the corpse again?
I would love to beat the corpse again. The only thing is, a couple things. I would need to learn how to apply a bald cap better, because Tommy Knockers, that was one of his big critiques for me. He was like, that bald cap looked a little sketch. I'm like, well, yeah. I had to do a mug change.
Right.
For context, week 4 of Kingpin was also the Upcycle Couture runway, and I put myself in a white face because I knew I would be a bald white-faced character. So I had my little bunny outfit on. And when I changed, I had to like erase all of the red as best as possible. I couldn't even do it the whole way. So that's why my eyes are red instead of like Pinhead's blue. And then I had to draw the lines on my face, and I had Rose Faluta's help doing that, and also the Rizzler's help because it had to be like super duper fast. And even when I tried to make it as fast as possible, I was so late to stage. So they all had, I've like put the ball cap on. I tried to stuff my hair in there. It was peeking out and it was fine. They drew all the lines. I put little rhinestones on like the intersecting lines to make it look like pins in my head.
Yeah.
Pinhead. But I didn't have enough rhinestones and like some of them fell off. So yeah, that was a whole mess. So I would do the makeup better, and then I think the mix, I would have to figure out how to do it without Bram or Rocky because Rocky lives in Buffalo, of course, and then Bram might just not be there. So I'm gonna figure out how to do that. And once I do, it will come back either way, but it has to come back under the logistics of maybe Bram won't be there, you know?
Well, I cannot wait to see it because the first time was really good.
I loved doing it. I will do it again.
Wonderful. Is there anything that you want to anything else that you want to make sure you say about Strangelove or about Hellraiser?
I think we all need to be freakier. That is my takeaway from the whole experience making the mix and being Pinhead and watching Hellraiser, because I watched like a YouTube video recently about how conservatism is rising in Gen Z and how the indicators were things like the trad wife lifestyle coming back, like milkmaid dresses at the club, like dating to marry because people were sick of the dating scene, which is like understandable, but like all that stuff, and how like we don't party as much as we used to as a generation. We don't like do all these fun things anymore, and then like now we're in a conservative nightmare country. So it was like all around indicating like the fashion of the time and like the things that we were idealizing were all indicators of a conservative wave. And I feel like watching that video, I'd heard like the theories that this was happening, but then I watched the video and it all clicked for me. So now I'm even more glad that I did a mix like that, which is about like freedom of expression. It's about weird evil sex. Like it just felt very good. And now moving forward, I'm gonna make my drag eviler and sexier, and it's just to push back against all that nasty conservatism, all the chastity, but like the shame culture that we've developed as Gen Z, like just shaming people for being freaks. I feel like we should all be freakier. You know what I mean?
I agree. Yeah. We need to get freakier. And I do, in addition to all of the like pop cultural markers that you just mentioned and that I'm sure many people have compellingly analyzed, I do hear that in like people's conversations now. Like I hear so much slut shaming now.
Oh, there's so much.
I hear people being so weird about condoms. Like I was at my college like earlier this year, and I pointed out like that we have the condom and dental dam bucket, and people are like confused why there's a condom and dental dam bucket, like because
safe sex is important.
Because safe sex is important, and there's so much. It just feels like there's more stigma now than there was when I was in high school about like gay sex, even from other gay people.
About even just sex in general. Like people are like, a big sentiment I've seen is like, we don't want sex scenes in movies, which like an unnecessary sex scene is kind of just like, no, why is it there? But like some sex, I feel, can be so important. It can drive a story. Like being so intimate and vulnerable with someone else, it can really like develop how characters will feel about each other, how they're going to feel about each other moving forward. Like it's pretty important to have that in movies when it's necessary. And especially for like queer movies, because we have like the movie Bottoms, which just came out recently-ish, about like lesbians being horny. And I feel like in lesbian scenes or in sapphic scenes, I feel like lesbians are just not allowed to be freaky and like be that way. So I like to be a freak and weird in my drag, and despite what like people may think or what they want us to be like, it's just so important that you just embrace that freak, which I feel like Marquis has instilled in me a little bit, because he's the freaky guy. He's the freaky bad guy. And I'm his son. So Some of it
Yeah.
rubbed off on me.
You come by it honestly.
Mhm.
Wonderful. I agree. We all need to get freakier in drag so that we can empower everybody to get freakier all over the world.
Absolutely. Hmm.
Thinking about Kingpin.
Hmm.
Now that Kingpin is over, how are you feeling? What did this season mean to you?
It was such an experience, truly. I came in as the youngest competitor, and no one let me forget that. Absolutely no one.
It was unfortunate. Like, literally every week, I'm like, guys, we can stop saying it.
No, because like writers like, this is the youngest competitor, and I'm like, and he was like, Ronnie, you're like 5. I'm like, great, that's nice. But everyone was like, yeah, you put up just as much as a fight as everyone else. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, I did. I honestly, like, it was such a trial by fire doing all of the challenges, trying to figure out what I wanted to do, how I was going to do it, because I was kind of limited by budgets, because I'm a broke college student.
Mm-hmm.
And winning the last week, it was just nuts. Like, I don't know how else to say it, but it was just nuts. Like, I don't know. It was so crazy. And then everyone was like, "Oh, you finally like got your flowers at the very end when you won that lip sync challenge." And I was like, "Yeah, I did," because I finally felt recognized for what I was doing.
Yeah.
It was just great. Everyone in the cast came to like hug me at the end. It all just felt like it came very full circle. And I just love all the boys so much.
Yeah.
It was fun getting to platform my art and showing what I can do instead of just dance, because like I had all my outfits and all the mixes and such. And even if I missed a week 3, that was probably my favorite look that never got to be seen. And I'm gonna get it fixed up, and there will be photos, I promise. But even if I missed a week, it was still a fun experience.
And yeah, especially during the finale, which is, the week that you won, I kept hearing the judges like praising you for your growth from the beginning to the end.
Yeah.
So, how would you describe the way that you grew and felt that you grew as an artist during the competition?
I would say I grew in figuring out what my drag is. Because for a long time, I didn't know. Because I've like changed my name 80 million times. So
Only like twice. That's actually
jokes
not
about it though. They're like, "Oh, you're gonna change your name for the 8th time." I'm like, "No."
twice is not that's not a lot of, especially if we're talking in, listen, any transgender person can tell you that twice is not a lot to change your name. Actually, I know people who went through like 5 different names in high school alone, and then they like 2 more in college. Like it's
And like a lot of the
twice is
scene
not a
is
lot.
trans, so why are they getting on me about it? Leave me alone.
Leave Ronnie alone.
I'm saying, I almost changed my name again, but I was like, nah, y'all couldn't handle that.
You're trying to beat the allegations, even though there's nothing wrong with the allegations.
Nothing wrong with them. I just think that I'm too attached to the name now, and I'm gonna build the brand off of what it is now. But in terms of growth, yeah, I feel like I've grown in hammering down my aesthetic and definitely in stage presence, because I'm still growing for sure, but from the beginning of Kingpin to the end, where I was like pointing at Dyke and being like, "Y'all don't want to hear me, you just want to dance." I just think so much has changed, and I look back on like my earliest Instagram post, and I think like he would be gagged and gooped to the nth degree to see where I am now, to see like the whole scene love and support me and want me on season 5 of Zephyr, which I can't do, but it sucks that I can't do it.
Sad.
To see them all like rally around me and support my art, and like to see my stage presence grow and be more theatrical in the face and in the movements and wearing heels. I just think he would be gagged, truly.
It's just been so amazing to watch, honestly, and I don't know, I'm really moved by hearing you say that. Just the idea of doing something that like even months ago you didn't know you could. That's so awesome.
I couldn't, like, me doing burlesque even I was like, that's not something I'm ever going to venture into, but it looked fun, so I started doing it. And yeah, that is another point of growth too, because there was one point at Zephyr Pub where I did a burlesque number to the Ziggy Stardust cover by Bauhaus, if you know that song.
Yeah.
And I was still like very inexperienced in how you recover from being naked in front of a crowd of people. So I was trying to grab my clothes and get redressed on the patio. If you know, have you been to Zephyr?
I have, yeah. I've been only like twice, but I know how it's structured where you have to you have to do the concrete stairs and then the wooden stairs to get back up to the dressing room. It's a little insane.
It's pretty crazy. I honestly, it's one of my favorite spaces to perform, but I was out there on the concrete and the street's right there. So I'm trying to like gather myself. And I see these two old dudes recording me through the bars of the bar. And I like flip them off and tell them to go fuck themselves. And that
Yeah.
like made me feel so gross and violated. And I was like, I don't want to do burlesque like ever again. But I don't know. I didn't let it get to me that much. It just felt disgusting in the moment. But after I got over it, I was just like, well, the creeps aren't everywhere.
Right.
And I'm still here, if that makes any sense. I don't know.
It does.
Like,
It does.
I still felt like in control of my body enough to reveal it again. And I felt like the Hellraiser mix was a good way to like bring that back. Because it's a very freaky mix about a very freaky individual. So I was like, well, I got to be naked for it.
That's something that we actually haven't talked about yet with the mix and the performance itself. That there was a burlesque component and a reveal component.
Yeah.
So especially since you mentioned that burlesque can feel really vulnerable, what changed that made you want to work it into this mix?
I just felt appropriate because like I'm being a freaky evil sex guy, so I gotta commit to it. I gotta get naked and shake my titties around. And I just am trying to I'm trying to go on this journey of like reclaiming my body and not feeling ashamed of it as someone who's a bit chunkier. And I see like we have a very diverse scene of burlesque performers. Like we have Deja Snow and Frida Von Freakum, two plus-size burlesque artists, and they empower me like truly to just embrace my body and reveal it to people because it's pretty cool. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
And lacking that shame, I feel like is crucial to performing a mix like the one I did, because you have to fully be in it and know and feel in your heart that what you're doing is what you want to do. I guess like something that because the Cenobites don't fucking care. They don't give a shit. They are driven only by hedonistic pleasure, and me doing burlesque to that mix was kind of an ode to that. Just like being as freaky as I want to be on my own accord because it's what I want to do. I'm not worried about anyone else. I don't care if they are being creeps and recording me through the bars of the gate from the street. Like, this is me, you know?
I think that confidence and that defiance is really key to both this specific performance and also developing your drag and who you are. I love to hear that. Once again, get freakier.
Get freakier, literally. And another inspiration, I feel, Big Top. He does burlesque. Like I know some kings will do burlesque and bind their chest, which I tried to do once and it looked very bad. So he just does it like boobs out. And I'm like, that's so cool, and I'm going to start doing that because I portray a male character in drag, but I have huge boobs. Like that's all it is to it.
I think about that a lot because it's like we have options, you know?
We do have options. Also, they're just too big to bind. It's a fucking hassle. So why not just put pasties on them and call it a day?
Yeah. No, I do. I hear a lot about that because like for myself, I'm kind of like in the middle where like using tape is possible. Like it takes a minute, but I can do it and get it like under control. But I have a lot of friends and peers who I tell them like, yeah, so you just take the one hand and you do this and you start to pull and they're looking at me like a crazy person because that's not as doable on a larger chest.
For the December pickle show, the bathroom pickle, I did a really bad performance. I hated it. But in the bathroom, Andrew Entity, another one of my drag family members, my brother, was helping me put on the trans tape. And he's less top heavy than I am, so it's probably a lot easier for him. But for me, it was like it didn't look right to me, at least. So I was like, I don't know if this is something I want to keep doing. So I just and I have all this matter. Why not show it off? You know?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like even obviously, like, for anyone who has a larger chest and, like, wants to use trans tape, I want to see, like,
Mhm.
the instructions go out there and, like, for that to be normalized, but I also want it to be normalized and celebrated for any king, but especially kings with larger chests, to, like, yeah, put pasties on it. Like, that's... Fuck my mic. There we go. I'm just so passionate about
So passionate
pasties
about
that I
things with big boobs.
leave me alone.
My fellow lead is too involved in the passion of it all. But yeah, like just, I mean, I know a lot of the kings around here are trans, so they may have like issues with just like, I don't know anyone's experience. I don't want to say, I don't want to speak on that. I'm one of like the few cisgender drag kings out here.
Like on one, like I can count them on one hand, and you're one of them.
So literally, and like one of them's himbo, and he's a man. He's just a man being a man again, which is like nothing wrong with that. But like, I don't know a whole lot of other. I mean, there's a couple, but there's only a couple of cis female drag kings. Like most of the scene is like trans or trans masc. But so they may like not want to put pasties on their boobs.
Yeah.
They just want to like tape them up, and that's fine. Me personally, I do it the way I like the burlesque girls do it. I just put pasties on, and I think we need a movement of boobs out for the kings, because if the queens can not wear breastplates and just put pasties on their bare ass nipples, no boob at all, why can't we? Like that's just my 2 cents.
Correct. And I think you should say it. Yeah. There is room for tape. There is room for pasties. There is room for silicone chests.
Absolutely.
I want to see all of it.
Yeah.
I want to see as much of it as you want me to see.
You do what you're comfortable with. Whoever's listening to this, you do what you want to do. What I want to do is put pasties on my nipples.
For sure. Wonderful. Thank you, Ronnie.
Absolutely.
Okay, so getting back to Kingpin, and I know this might be a big question, and it's also probably one that you've answered on a lot of forums, but however you would like to answer it, what's your favorite memory from the competition?
I haven't actually been asked that much. I mean, maybe by people in passing, but I can't remember it being asked to me so much where I'm like, all right, guys.
Okay, I'm glad.
Okay, you're good. My favorite memory, I have a couple. The last week was definitely one of them, like me winning, of course. But just like yapping with the boys in the group chat about our projects and like sending them progress pictures. Like when I made the peacock coat, I had to glue so many feathers and I inhaled so much E6000 that I think it's like bean shaped now. But I would send them pictures and they would all like hype me up and get excited. And then like we just do that. We just send each other pictures and we would all hype each other up. And we were all just working together towards this goal. And we were all very supportive of each other in that. And just getting to hang out with them in the dressing room, just getting to cut up with like Rocky especially. That's my boy.
Mr. Nice Guy.
Yeah, Mr. Nice Guy. Our 2025 Mr. Nice Guy, season 2. Lovely man. And then like talking to Rizzler, because we both go to the same school in Himbo, of course, but I don't get to see Rizzler super often. So like getting to know him even more with this was amazing. There's just so many good memories. I feel like I don't have a favorite. I have a collection of favorites.
But still, yeah, it just keeps coming back to, I keep hearing from a lot of you, both from season 1 and season 2, about how like you come out of this like having like a lot of people in your corner, and that just sounds so amazing.
You just have a whole family. It's great.
Well, is there anything else that you'd like to share with me, or make sure you get on the mic?
I will say making the costume for the Hellraiser mix, I just used my graduation robe. That's my graduation robe. I didn't have a good robe to use, and I wanted something where I could easily reveal at the end, and it just has a big zipper in front of it, and so I was just like, zoop, and boom. That was a thing I got a lot of good critiques on. They were like, that was a very smooth review, and I was like, thank you. It was my graduation robe. Other things, ball caps are hard to put on.
Yes. Sorry, I just want to come back to the graduation robe for a second, because that's genius. What the hell?
Yeah.
Because I have one of those. I have one of those in my house.
And then like when I went and made the outfit for Upcycle Couture, I took another graduation robe that I thrifted that was white, and I made it into like a little cape. So I think they're very versatile, and I think people should get into the graduation robe bag, because they can be used for so much.
For sure.
I don't know if I would use it again, for this number if I did it again, but it was just so easy to use that you never know.
Right.
Trying to think of other things that I went through.
You were telling me that bald caps are hard to put on.
They are. They are so fucking hard to put on, and I thought it would be easy as just pop it on your head, put the glue on, you're done. No.
No.
Abel gave me instructions on how to do it better. Tommy gave me a sheet of paper that instructs you on how to put a bald cap on the right way, and it's on my desk somewhere. I can't find it, but he gave it to me at Jester's Privilege, which the mix I made for Jester's Privilege is now viral on TikTok, so that's a whole nother thing. But he gave me it at Jester's Privilege, and I was like, this feels, like, in my mind, this feels kind of shady, but I love you for this. So this is very good for me, because now I can put it on the correct way. He's like, I have a gift for you. Here's how you do your ball cap better, you little fag. And I'm like thank you.
He's so... I love that. I love that kind of...
I love that of him, just giving me instructions on how to put a ball cap on better. And I'm going to use those instructions. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it, but it's just like...
It's a hilarious context to be handed this, like, especially because that's like close to a month after...
Yeah, that was
Kingpin,
like
where it's like, hey, just in case you forgot.
In case you forgot, your ball cap looked like shit, which is not what he said to me. But, yeah, like a whole month after, he asked me still thinking about it that much, where he's like, I gotta fix this guy's game. He can't just be getting away with this.
Yeah. I mean, it's honestly really thoughtful, but also hilarious, which sounds like what I keep hearing about Tommy Knockers, to be honest. He's thoughtful and hilarious.
He's so thoughtful and hilarious. He did a number at Justice Privilege as Oscar the Grouch.
Yeah, I was there. I saw that.
I didn't get to. I was changing, unfortunately, but he's just such a character. I love him. I just really love seeing, this is so specific, I love seeing drag kings do their favorite male cover of Toxic by Britney Spears. I think we should have an all Toxic drag show, actually, because there are so many covers. Yeah. I think we could all find, it doesn't even matter if it's bad, just do it, because everyone needs to be doing something different. And that's actually one of the Kingpin challenges. We had to do a male cover of a female song, so I picked Bad Romance. That was really fun.
Which is, yeah, I love that version of Bad Romance so much. There was one time, like last summer, I almost did that version. I ended up going with like a slightly heavier version with like a female vocalist, because in my particular situation where I needed Bad Romance, like the gender was a little less important. Or for you, like that's part of the challenge. But I love that song. I love seeing it live, especially because when I saw you do it live, I was thinking about Cream and a Coochie had a like viral clip of him doing that song that went around. And he judged the finale. So I'm like, oh my god, Ronnie's giving us like Cream and a Coochie realness. For real though.
No, I love him so much. That's such an honor to be compared to him. He followed me back on Instagram.
Oh my god, you win.
And I was like, the fuck? Like, I have very cool mutuals. It's great.
It is. Yeah. I remember the first time that I like talked to Ryder about Kingpin, and like he emphasized so much that like so much of what he wants to do with it is networking. Like you come away from it like with connections where like even if you don't like officially win a booking through Kingpin, then like you still know people that you didn't, and it still helps you get further once you're done.
Yeah, like that definitely helped, especially in the finale. It was very relevant when like Riley Poppy Seed got the two other Thrustfest producers, Throb Zombie from fucking Dragula. And then Thrustfest, the Thrustfest account reposted my finale pictures, and everyone was messaging me being like, "Are you seeing this?" And I'm like, "Yes, I'm seeing this. I'm gagged." And then Emerald City King Ball also reposted those pictures, and I was like, "Oh, so I'm like famous."
Yeah.
Oh, they love me. Like me and Emerald City Kings Ball are mutuals on Instagram, and I would have applied this year, but I don't know if I can travel all the way out there.
Yeah.
So like the networking through Kingpin definitely works. Like you will meet some really cool people. Depending on who he has judged season 3, you'll meet even cooler people. So
insane. Wild to think about.
Yeah. Wild to think about.
Speaking of being famous, you mentioned this earlier. How does it feel to be viral on TikTok? What's that been like?
It's been fucking insane. It's been insane. Me and Pineapple are both viral on TikTok for very different reasons.
Yeah.
I just think that's really fun. I've joined the ranks of TikTok virality. Basically, I posted a video taken by the Twisted Transitioner. He took a video of part of my rock and roll McDonald's mix where I eat the burger, which is crucial to the mix because the rest of the mix is me getting sick and hating it. So I captioned it being like, drag is inherently sexual, because like conservatives will use that as a talking point. And then I'm like, drag is inherently sexual, and then it's just this, and it's me eating a burger dressed as Ronald McDonald. And it blew the fuck up. Like, there's... Actually, let's check right now. How many likes does it have on TikTok?
Let's check right now. I want to see the numbers.
Okay, check. The numbers are huge. Just utterly massive and huge and beautiful. And even now I'm getting notifications still on that video. I just got a comment that says Rock and Roll McDonald's on that video. Okay, it has 99,000 likes.
Holy shit.
Almost 100K. Almost 100K. And then, like, the views are in, like, the 500,000s.
Wow.
It's, like... And then it got reposted by this YouTube channel onto YouTube. And I was like, holy fucking shit, people are really resonating with this video. And obviously I get the odd comment being like, stay away from kids. Like, literally someone commented that, being like, get the fuck away from kids. Like, why are you talking about showing this to kids? I'm like, this wasn't a show where kids were at, and also you are not being forced to take your children to a drag show.
Right. Like,
it's not something that is being government mandated for you to do. Like, and then, like, I get the occasional, like, comment being like, well, there's other drag performances that are sexual, and I'm like, well, those are not this one.
Yeah.
Like, drag isn't a monolith. It's not all, like, shaking your boobs and shit like that. And then I got a lot more comments calling me a drag queen.
Huh.
Because they see a big wig and think drag queen, or they see, like, the talking point of drag is inherently sexual, and they think queens, or they think that drag queens are the only type of drag. So people are, like, correcting them, being like, no, this is a king. This is not that. And it's just the amount of girl and, like, she ate comments. I'm like, guys, I'm not a woman in this context. I'm not a woman right now. I'm a man doing man things, like eating burgers.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people were commenting like, girl, this is a Wendy's burger. This is Five Guys. This is Arby's. I'm like, no, it's not any of those things. I didn't want to support McDonald's, obviously. So I got a burger off of my college campus, like this restaurant off of my college campus. And it came in a little white bag, and it's wrapped in foil, because that's just how they do it. And I ate it because I was like, it's not going to matter. It's still a burger.
Mm-hmm.
The point is that I'm eating it, and I'm Ronald McDonald. But people were like arguing in the comments with me, being like,
wanted it to be a McDonald's burger, like real bad.
I guess. I'm like, that's not the point. Like, it doesn't matter where it's from. It's just the fact that it's a burger and I'm eating it. Like, they serve burgers at McDonald's. Just pretend. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it's so dumb, truly. I'm stupid. Like, who cares where it's from? Just focus on the fact that I look stupid and I'm eating a burger, and just laugh. Just fucking laugh, dude.
Literally. It's the whole point. Come on.
Yeah, drag is stupid. I don't think we should take drag as seriously. I mean, I think on stage you should give. I think if you're not giving on stage, then you need to step up your game. But I also think that as drag performers, we should all be a little sillier. And we should all be a little freakier.
Yes.
Just be freaky and silly.
Get freaky, get silly. I'm taking
the
notes.
conservatives aren't going to like what we do either way. So whatever stupid idea you have, put it out there. Just, like, put it on stage. Who cares? You may, like worry about, like, oh, I'm not getting booked or whatever. If you're not getting into the industry, you don't really have to worry about that. I would like to be in the drag industry, but if you're doing it as a hobby, just be stupid with it. And even if you are in the industry, you can be a little stupid with it. Just be stupid and be freaky. Just be those two things, and you'll be all right.
Wonderful. I think that's a great place for us to leave it. Thank you for your time, Ronnie, and we will all get freaky, get stupid, and get silly.
Freaky, get stupid, go crazy, go stupid, go crazy. Go crazy. Truly, like, moral of the story, just be a freak.
Thank you for listening to Kings on the Aux. This episode featured Kent and Cleveland drag king Ronnie Wrath and was hosted by Cleveland drag king Caius Crow. You can find Ronnie's looks, performance videos, and upcoming show dates on Instagram at Ronnie Wrath. That's RONNIE.Wrath. You can find me on Instagram at Caius Crow. That's C-A-I-U-S Crow. Questions? Comments? Compliments? Complaints? Send me a message on Instagram at Kings on the Aux or email me at caiuscrow@gmail.com. I'll talk to you soon on our next episode. Thank you for supporting local drag.